YouTube world, back at it once again. It's Instant Classic A. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I'm here. Didn't really have much to talk about, so what's the point of making a video? But I am here, as you can see from the title. It's been a while since I've actually done one of these, not just the actual video, but one of my Fave 5 videos. But some topic came up, so I decided to go ahead and do it. Um, it is Sunday. I did see Vengeance tonight. It was okay. Uh, Nothing extraordinary. Anything outside of what you would see on Raw, SmackDown every single week. They did the spot with Show and Mark Henry, where the whole suplex and the ring broke. That was kind of cool. I liked it, one, because of course, back in the day when Big Show and Brock Lesnar did it, I lost my damn mind. I remember I had that show recorded, and that next day I kept watching it over and over and over. I took it to a friend's house, and we just kept watching over and over and just marveled at it. Just an amazing sight. I like the fact that they did it because the younger generation actually gets to see how cool of a spot that is. So, that's really cool to have. Other than that, I mean, Cena Del Rio was nothing special. Uh, Nothing really special in there. I mean, something that I really wouldn't recommend going away you see or watch or definitely pay for. Next month, of course, it's Survivor Series, so The Rock is coming back. That's something excited to look forward to. Other than that, TNA, I've been somewhat into TNA. They haven't been the best, but I've at least been into that product. Bound for Glory was a decent show. Didn't really agree on the outcome. Of course, that's all of Hogan, with Bobby Roode not winning the title. But we did see James Storm win the title this past week, and of course, they'll probably go with Storm versus Bobby Roode. So something to look forward to. I liked it a lot. Ring of Honor, still not really into it right now. Hopefully it'll change around soon. PWG, I love them. They just came out with a show yesterday with Sting versus Generico. Ladder match I heard was really good. Super Dragon returned. Apparently it was a great moment. I mean, I marked out and I wasn't even there. So definitely look forward to seeing all that. But let's get to the topic at hand. As you can see, it's my Fave 5. Talking about my favorite, I don't know what I'm going to title this, but this is basically my favorite live moments. My favorite moments when I was at a wrestling event live. I think I've said this many times. I know people would definitely agree. There's nothing like seeing a wrestling show live, whether it's WWE, man, no, they're not the best in the world, but TNA, ROH, whatever you want to see, there's nothing like seeing a show live. It always makes the experience that much better. I mean, like tonight, Vengeance wasn't all that, but I'm pretty sure the people who actually went to it, they had a blast, and that's what's really important. And I love going to live events. That basically keeps me a fan of pro wrestling. Anytime a live event is in the area, I definitely try to go. Maybe not every time, like there's a SmackDown coming to Richmond, I think in December. I'm not going, but they have a Ring of Honor show coming to Virginia pretty soon that I want to go to, and it's just exciting. It's exciting to actually be there and be able to participate in the crowd. Definitely the past few years with me going to WrestleMania and experiencing 3 or 4 different shows while you're down there, along with WrestleMania, seeing 65, 70,000 people there. It's a really nice atmosphere, and it's something that you can actually be proud to say, hey, I was there and everything. And it's very exciting. If you've never been to a live event, I mean, you just have to go. There's just no way around it. Find a way to go to some type of show, especially if you're a WWE fan. I mean, their production and their show quality, at least live, is top notch. Definitely go. But I want to go over a few things. I have 5. I didn't want to do 10 this time. I did 5. I have a few honorable mentions because I have seen some pretty good stuff live. One thing on my honorable mentions list, TLC 1. This was SummerSlam 2000, I believe, down in North Carolina. I completely forgot which part it was. But I did get to see TLC 1. That was something that was just crazy to see. After we had seen the triple ladder match at WrestleMania 2000, a couple months before, we got to see the TLC match, and it was just crazy. Everyone was going nuts in the crowd. Definitely really cool to see live. Right here in Richmond, I forgot the year, 2003 or something like that, or 2002. Hogan versus Lesnar. It was a SmackDown. The match itself wasn't that great, but just seeing that moment, me being a Lesnar fan, of course, when I was a kid, being a Hulkamaniac, it was kind of cool to see those two, actually have a match. Like I said, the match wasn't really that good, but just to see those two have a match, it was definitely a sight to see. From this past year, Ring of Honor in New York, Best in the World, seeing David Richards versus Eddie Edwards. That match was just incredible. Definitely, well, I would say one of the best matches I've seen live. Definitely one of the best. Um, just the whole, of course, being in New York, the atmosphere was definitely great, and that match was, you know, definitely one of the matches of the year. So, as far as like Ring of Honor, that's definitely the best that I've seen. I know people have seen something that's better, but for me, that's definitely up there with everything else. Um, Another one. This isn't. It's kind of a bad moment, but I definitely got to see it. It was a super show that I went to in Philly in 2006. This was in July, and this was actually a show where RVD lost both the ECW title and the WWE title in the same night. Well, it was, different nights on TV, but we got to see a Raw and an ECW. This is when I think he got busted for pot, and just that whole Super Show was really fun. But just seeing him lose both those belts after just having it just like a month or so, before then, seeing him lose both those belts in one night, it was a crazy moment. But let's get to the top five. I didn't put this in any kind of order at all, so I'm just gonna go with it. They always say your first is your best, so I definitely put my first in there. My first live event I ever went to was actually a pay-per-view back in 1997. It was In Your House. Some of you guys remember In Your House. It was called A Cold Day in Hell. It was in the Coliseum in Richmond. It was an okay show. I mean, look back at it now, it wasn't anything spectacular. I did get to see Vader wrestle, Vader's definitely one of my favorites. The big thing for me was I got to see Stone Cold versus Undertaker before they even had like a big feud like they did in like '98 and everything. So that was definitely fantastic to see. Of course, being my first show, I didn't know what to expect. Everybody, it was only like maybe 7,000-8,000 people, but it felt like a million people to me because one, I was a little kid, and two, I mean, just my first event, it was just I was in awe, and it was just great. Next one I have on the list, this was actually a graduation present of mine in 2005. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, SummerSlam 2005. The match itself, I mean, obviously we've all seen the match. It's not that great, but just being an icon, like it was an icon versus an icon, me being a Hulkamaniac, and then Shawn Michaels being my favorite wrestler, it was definitely a sight to see. Obviously, we remember Shawn Michaels doing all that overselling, and it was a goofy match to have there, but it was still something special to see, and it'll go down in the history books as being, I don't know if you call it one of the most important, but just one of the biggest matches in WWE history, especially with that whole feud. I love that whole thing when Shawn Michaels had his little mini heel turn, and definitely added to the match as well. But I really enjoyed it, and I definitely had a blast. One of my favorite things I got to see live. Another one, this was actually in Richmond as well. I want to say this was 2001. This was a Raw. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. I may have mentioned this on another video. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit in the cage match. I know you guys have seen it. It was so awesome. It's hard to describe. I mean, just everything they did in there, and of course the two big spots they did when Kurt Angle got to the top and did that moonsault. We all went crazy, and then Benoit goes up there and does I was gonna call it the suicide headbutt. Sorry, the diving headbutt. That was something as well spectacular to see. What was kind of cool was that with the cage position, we could see the announcers and everything. And you could see Stone Cold, like his eyes was like lit up, and he was like marking out as well, trying to hide it and everything. But it was just a spectacular thing to see live. I mean, especially that Kurt Angle moonsault where he jumps in the air and comes crashing down. I remember everyone was just like, oh, everyone was buzzing after that. It was just a crazy thing to see live. Number 2, this was from last year, 2010, WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, part 2, I guess you want to call it. Amazing match. In my opinion, I know a lot of people have a different opinion, but it's up there with their first one that they did back in 2005. It had its certain element because 2009 WrestleMania 25. It had a certain element with WrestleMania 25 match. It was just these two guys who haven't wrestled in a long time, these two great icons going at it, and you really didn't know what happened. Like the first time that Shawn Michaels kicked out of the tombstone, really no one saw it happening. That's why everyone went crazy, and that's why the moment itself was special. Flip forward to the second match that they had at WrestleMania 26, when Undertaker hit the tombstone. Everyone was hoping that Shawn Michaels kicked out just because he's done it before. So can he do it again to keep his career intact? And when he did, everyone went crazy again. And that match itself, like I said, that match was an all-time classic. Being Shawn Michaels' last match, hopefully his last match, definitely, it meant something to me seeing that live. So wonderful, wonderful moment. And then I know I said it didn't have an order, but this is definitely my number one. Um, Royal Rumble 2004. That was in Philadelphia. First off, the show itself was awesome. I loved it all. I loved it all, especially seeing Triple H and Shawn Michaels in that Last Man Standing match. It was great stuff. But the moment for me, of course, was when Chris Benoit won the Royal Rumble. I was a huge Chris Benoit fan. He got in there. I think he was number 2, I want to say. But just going through everybody. The Royal Rumble itself match was great. I remember everyone laughing and cracking up when Ernest Miller came down there and started doing a dance and he got thrown out. But yeah, just seeing it when he finally, took Big Show out and won the Rumble, it was a great moment, and I was definitely happy for him. I never really saw him winning the title at WrestleMania, but he actually did, and that kind of added to the moment. So for my money, that was just the best thing I've ever seen. I went crazy. It was a perfect show for me, at least live, but I loved it all. Um, Let me know what you guys think, or what your favorite live moment is. Hopefully, you all have been to at least one live show. If you haven't, do whatever you can to go. But I would love to see all your opinions on what the best thing you've ever seen live is. I know people are gonna have something from like this year, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it's your favorite thing, hey, it's your favorite thing. And then people are gonna have stuff from early 2000s, even 90s and everything. So I just want to see what you guys' opinion on it. Just let me know that. Until then, Instant Classic 8. Peace.